Hi, my name is Sarah Hoddes, and this is the elephant toothpaste experiment. First I gathered my materials. I got a vase from Walmart for the experiment because I did see in the video that it was going to get hot, so I did not want to do this in a plastic cup because I did not know how hot it was going to get. I then got a hydrogen peroxide from Walmart, but they only had 3%. I also got yeast and then the Dawn dish soap I had in the dorm, and then I got some blue food coloring, and that styrofoam cup is for the yeast and hot water mixture. So first I did this in the shower room because I saw in the video that it could get kind of messy and I did not want to do that in my dorm room. So I went to the shower room and I first put in some hydrogen peroxide, and then I added some Dawn dish soap in that second picture in the top right, and then I added some blue food coloring and I swirled it around, just kind of mixing it all together, and you can see that in the final picture. I then took hot water from the tap and mixed in some yeast into the cup. I did not measure it because the video did not measure it, so I think I put roughly 2 to 3 tablespoons of yeast in there and mixed it up to make a thick brownish color looking. This is what the experiment looked like. So, I did put a lot of hydrogen peroxide in the vase because in the video he kind of had a small vase thing, and I know mine was a lot bigger, so I wanted to make sure that it actually would come out of the vase. So I did add quite a bit of hydrogen peroxide, and it did end up coming out of the vase. What happened? The yeast contains an enzyme called catalase, and that breaks down the hydrogen peroxide into oxygen, gas, and water. And the oxygen gas gets trapped by the soap, and you get a large foamy solution that should squirt out of the top of the vase. As you can see, mine was a little bit more runny, and I will explain why I think that happened later. So the hydrogen peroxide in the video or demonstration is 30% hydrogen peroxide. I think it was started out with 5 and then 20 maybe, and then it went to 30 on the last one. That's 10 times stronger than the hydrogen peroxide I had in my dorm room because you can't just find 30% hydrogen peroxide off the Walmart shelf. So I used the 3% and I added a little bit more to maybe help that way too. The 30% hydrogen peroxide is not something you just put on a cup or cut or scrape, which is kind of like what my mom always did with the 3%. The sodium iodide reacts with the hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2, by removing the oxygen atom, and that essentially produces the water and oxygen gas, which is H2O plus O2, and that oxygen gas gets trapped in the soap, which produces the big ball of foam. The reaction produces oxygen gas, water, and iodine. And then once the experiment was over, when I went to move the vase, it actually created some type of it created the vase was almost warm to the touch. It wasn't scalding hot, but it was warm. So that just went into a little bit more deeper detail. I do think overall my experiment did work, but I do think if I would have had a stronger hydrogen peroxide, then maybe there would have been more of a solid foam, because in the video it was a solid foam that came out in a form almost kind of like toothpaste, whereas this was a little bit more runny, and that could have just been that I also used too much hydrogen peroxide compared to the soap and food coloring ratio. But I would say that it still was fun and that the experiment did work. So thank you.